Do not attempt to adjust your podcast player. We are controlling the transmission. We are here to be your guide, helping you to explore local events, the art scene, music, theater, sports, and possibly a conspiracy or two. All here on the GCRX Radio and Podcast Network.
Good evening, everyone. This is Brian with a Y, your favorite guy. Oh, man, what a week, what a week, what a week. Woo! For those of you who didn't see last show, y'all should definitely take a look at that. But moving on to what has happened this week. In the studio today, we're going to talk with one of my dearest friends, Robert Nelson. We're going to talk about W-2's and 1099's because it's tax season, right? It's February. People got their tax stuff, right? And, you know, for those of us who haven't filed taxes yet, we should probably get around to doing that. April 15th will be here like that.
What about those of us who haven't filed in like 30 years?
Ooh, you had the
You calling me out? Like, what's good?
Oh, that's you. I said, catch me if you can, and that's you.
By the way, I'm an IRS operative. Finally got him, boys. Move in.
Oh, I'm so serious. I hope this show reaches the type of notoriety that at some point I could definitely get like taken out of here on handcuffs, like on live. We know where he's gonna be. Like
that's some drama.
That would be that. You want to hear some drama?
I would watch.
Okay, all right. Let me tell you some drama.
Uh-oh.
I was doing Lyft on Friday. Friday was what, Valentine's Day? Okay. Bill's laughing because he already heard this story.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me sip the tea.
As you spill it.
Oh, that's still hot. That's still hot. So hot. Okay, we're good. So, I'm doing Lyft on Friday, and I picked this lady up. I'm not going to say where I picked her up from or where I took her to, but it was a long drive. And I pick her up, and I'm like, "Happy Valentine's Day," and she goes, "Oh, there's nothing happy about it." And I'm like, okay. She's like, "That cheating ass ex-husband of mine," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She goes, "Yeah, we used to work at a racetrack together." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I caught him cheating with this one little bimbo, and I was just so mad. I snapped that day. I followed them to the house, and it wasn't even her house; it was the house of another girl he was sleeping with." And I'm like, "Oh, and her eyes are like, I'm kind of glancing over my shoulder because I'm noticing like she's got this wild smile on her face, and her eyes are like really like she's ready to tell this story. She goes, "I was just so mad that day. I went back to my house and I grabbed the knife. And mind you, this story is also like 10, maybe 11 years old. So I don't know what statute of limitations on this, and you'll understand this in a moment." She goes, "I was going to slash her tires. And when I got back to the house, she wasn't there. So the car wasn't there. So I banged on the door, and he came to the door, and I was just so mad at him. I stabbed him." I was like, "I'm sorry. What?" She goes, and I just kept stabbing him. I'm like,
You lying.
I really wish I was, bro." So he like fell on the couch, and she like jumped on him, and she was pinning him, and his arms were flailing like a T-Rex, she said, and she just kept poking him. And he finally was like, "You're gonna kill me," and she was like, "No, I want you to live." Something crazy. But ultimately what came of it was, I'm gonna call the police because I'm thinking the same thing you guys are thinking right now. How is your crazy ass not in prison right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro,
right? Like, this is attempted murder. Like, she's like, Howard,
and now you're an accessory. Like,
who, me? Absolutely not. This was 10 years after the fact. I don't know. I don't even know if this story is true. I'm just retelling. I should do a whole new. This is Lyft stories, and I could have Lyft drivers call in and Uber drivers just tell their stories. It'd be crazy.
It's like Brian version of 60 Minutes.
Yo,
you might want to provide your contact details for the police.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Y'all know where I am. So she pokes him a whole bunch, and he's like on the couch, and she pins his arms, and he's trying to fight her off and everything. And he's like, "I'm gonna call the police. You're gonna go to jail." And she says to him, "Go ahead." And she grabs her phone and she throws it at him and hits him in the face. And he's like, huh? She goes, no, go ahead. Yeah, like they'll believe little bitty me got little, big old you. And he's like, wait, what? She goes, and if they do take me in, I'll claim temporary insanity because it's a crime of passion. And I'm like, oh, you thought this out. This is terrible. Not only that, she dials 911 because he can't lift his arms to make the 911 phone call. And yeah, they go 911. What's your emergency? Yeah, I just got jumped by a bunch of guys. They stole my wallet and that was it. Like, oh my dear, like what?
Good Lord.
Yeah. So the epilogue of that story is he went home with her to recover after they stitched him up and all the other stuff. And sure enough, he was sleeping with one eye open. Jeez. And she said,
wait, did you say he went home with her?
That's nuts.
Yep.
That's toxic.
And she said, why aren't you sleeping? He goes, I'm afraid you're going to stab me in my sleep.
And
she
slept
goes
in the bed with her?
She says, no, I'd stab you looking at you just like I did last time. I about fell out, people.
This is in a lift ride. First of all, you should not be that comfortable to confide in your.
Who are you telling? Look,
like, you don't even know me. Like,
you don't know that I have a podcast I'm going to tell your story on. Like,
lady, I am really the fuzz, and I'm taking you to jail.
Yeah, I'm just going to. Why are we here? Hey, officers, these are the lady I texted you about. Like, no, like I don't even know. But that's the cold open for today. So
Jesus. That's ridiculous.
Isn't it though? Oh my God.
I think I would have just shut up and not said a word about that.
I tried so from the moment that I was going to pick this lady up, when the company that contracted me, that set up the ride, when they called me to ask me, are you on your way? Yeah, I'm a minute away. Oh, I'm going to patch you through. No, there's no need. Like, I'm literally pulling up right now. From the energy of that conversation, I was like, yep, this is going to be a ride. This is going to be a ride. It was more than half an hour. It was.
She got out. Brian was like, happy Valentine's Day.
I didn't even bother. I'm not.
That's crazy.
Isn't it though? Like, who are the people in your neighborhood?
Murderers.
In your neighborhood.
Murderers. To admit it though, like if I get that insane and do something like that, I'm taking it to the grave. Nobody know. Like, nobody know. I'm taking it to the grave. Just like getting in a lift. By the way, I stabbed my ex-husband today, or like
10 years ago. Why are you telling the story? Like, does Valentine's Day trigger you every time?
I don't know.
Like, it has to. Like today, I'm going to tell my attempted murder story. Like, what?
Let that hurt go, sis.
Look, I'd say here's a card. Come to my church. You could use some healing, but I think you could just go to the church in your neck of the woods. It's fine, really. Just find you a biblically based, Christ-based church and a community. And they've got this thing called Celebrate Recovery that you should definitely like take part in. It
how do you interact in group with that? Like, you can't be like, oh yeah, I'm a former alcoholic, or like I used to snort crack off of the dumpster side. Like, that's bad stuff, right? But like, hey, I tried to stab somebody to death.
What are you recovering from?
So Celebrate Recovery is not like, okay, you've got Narcotics Anonymous.
I get that.
Right, yeah, but they talk about
Alcoholics
what
Anonymous,
they're
right?
recovering
And
from.
those talk about substance issues, but in Celebrate Recovery, it's more than that. It's hurts, habits, and hangups. Like, it's a whole thing.
She's the offender.
Yeah, she is the offender,
but
she's recovering from the fact that she was like so hurt by all the things, like the trauma that he put her through.
My name's Janice. I have murderous tendencies.
I did not tell you her name. That was not. That's not her name, folks.
We're like, what?
Hey,
I like to stabby a little bit,
wow.
especially on Valentine's Day.
Could you imagine? Could you?
That's a kink.
I would have been really concerned. Like, really concerned. Wait, what did I miss? Y'all heard it. I didn't.
I said I like to stabby, especially on Valentine's Day, and he said,
"That's a kink."
Oh my God!
Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry.
There are some people who like to be burned with hot wax, and some people just like to be stabbed.
Hey, forgive me.
We should probably move on to another topic.
So, how was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. It was cool. What did I do?
You had a really great yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was cool. Yeah, it was lit. It was lit. I got to preach a sermon yesterday at our church at Freedom Point, so it was pretty cool. Was planning a little while for it. Probably scratched ideas at least twice. Like, I think I like, on like movies when they're like writing, they rip out the note page and like throw it in the trash. I did that a few times. Like, nope, that's not it. Let's do it again.
You ever get all the way to like, I'm on page 7. Nope, this ain't gonna work.
That happened a few times. Like I got like more than halfway through. I'm like, I don't like it. Nope, hash it. Start over.
Wow.
It happened a few times, and I thought I was crazy, but it was cool because Pastor Matt said it happened to him too. So I'm like, cool. I ain't crazy. I ain't the only one who scratched the idea a few times, but ultimately it was cool, and I felt good about it. Other people felt good about it, so I didn't feel like I was saying what the Lord didn't want me to say. Like, we had them moments where like, ooh, I don't think I just feel it in my soul. I wasn't supposed to say that. I didn't have none of that, so I'm like, okay, it's good. And we prayed on it. We worked hard, and I think it was all right.
Honest critique.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. The first, I want to say maybe like the introduction to it was kind of a cold open, right?
Mm-hmm.
But after the initial prayer, it was like, oh, yeah. And it just flowed. It flowed so freely and so beautifully. Like, I'm sitting there, I was, kind of doing security in the back, kind of like looking out the door and, just kind of, but I really wanted to hear what you were saying. And I was, and I'm like, oh man, this is really great stuff. And when you caught the team, you caught like let me see, from where you were standing, it was this side, God led. I was like, oh, you got the flat footed. Y'all wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was cool going from, and it really talked to me because I'm like, man, I know I'm so much better than this. And it's like, yeah, you're so much better than this. You think you are, but like, if you really included God in this, you could be so much better.
For real.
Because you just let him channel you. I was like, oh, okay.
Same.
So yeah, like it spoke to me on levels.
That's lit, bro.
Is it up yet?
No, it is not on YouTube yet. I don't know when Pastor Matt put them up. I know he put them all up, but so eventually it'll be up. It's just not up right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I'm gonna go downvote it.
Okay.
Yo, I mean, Jesus has how many hundreds of thousands of like hate sites against Jesus?
Oh yeah,
there's so many. It's like, okay,
haters gonna hate.
Yeah, haters gonna hate. Look, I'll tell people this. It'd be like, look, you could go walk on water, and your haters will tell you, man, he can't swim.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
It was fake, and now they got AI to back it up. Oh, that was AI.
They could see you in person. Nothing under. They can see Jesus come back. Oh,
I think that's going to be the problem. Like in the future, some miraculous things are going to happen that point towards, Revelation, end time stuff, and people are like, yeah, it's not. We've become so desensitized anyway. Like,
well, I can't tell you how many people asked me, oh, you were there for 9/11? So where are the buildings hiding for real?
What?
Hiding?
Oh yeah, we hid those buildings.
Okay.
Somebody pressed a button, they're like, like gone.
Like David Copperfield, he's not alive, right?
Yeah, Copperfield's still around, isn't he?
He's still around? Yeah, he hides buildings and tanks and stuff. Yeah, he just hid the buildings. Yeah, okay. The years of trauma, the years of me not traveling into Manhattan. Oh yeah, totally. We just hid the buildings. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I should see a therapist about that, among other things. But yes, definitely.
I think it's the among other things we should worry about.
Hey,
Bill, what'd you do this weekend?
Not a lot.
Was there more moving of things?
More tech docs. Oh yeah, we went and did a bunch of organization, and the shop has got kind of out of hand with things going on, and we got it all squared away and cleaned up and picked up more stuff today. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Tech Doc. It's lots of service plans that help you clean up your computer. Like all things. It's like having an IT department without paying, you know, $40, $50, $60,000 a year for an IT department. So yeah, I use it for my computer. It's great stuff. I don't ever have any issues because I hardly use my computer for anything. I use my phone, but still, when I'm on my computer and I'm putting together those wonderful slides for like trivia and stuff. Yeah. Oh, look, it's Cloud. Oh man, Bill, I don't know what I did. And Bill's like,
put your computer back in the box and ship it back to the company you bought it from.
Bill, do you give those IT answers? I know why they do it. I know why they do it.
Right in the eyes when he said that.
It's funny when they do it. So like you do everything you can, and then you call IT like, hey, this is what's happening. I can't get it. It's like, did you try turning it off and turning it on?
Yeah, you know,
I know you got to say that.
You know,
but every time I'm just like, yes, because if I hadn't did that, I would have did that before I called you.
Say that, but there's this little cutesy program that comes with Windows called Task Manager, right? And when you open it up, the first view you get is how long the computer has been up. And you would not believe how many users are like, well, yeah, I've restarted it like 4 or 5 times. And you hit that little Control-Shift-Escape and that window pops up and it says it's been going for a day and a half.
Like, no, you
did you? And then I restart it for them and the problem is gone.
They probably just locked the screen. I was like,
yeah,
it?
And you know what? It is what it is. We get paid to support, you know, folks, and it is what it is. But like literally when the whole industry is like, bro, restart the machine. Like it's literally a rock that we train to do math. And you're expecting for it to just run forever. Like, restart the machine.
Turn it off, cut it off.
Right. Reload the software. Let it have a chance to do its thing. And
let it breathe.
Works magic. And if it's deeper than that, then we'll fix it. But, like, we got to start somewhere. There's a troubleshooting process. You know,
sure.
You don't have a problem with your machine immediately. I need to, like, replace the CPU before I troubleshoot something else. Like,
right.
Come on.
I mean, the same thing used to happen with cars. It's like, you get in, oh, my car doesn't start. It must be the thing that you guys fixed last.
Bro, your tire's flat. And we changed your oil.
We changed your oil and we rotated your tires. Well, that's why it's flat. No. Where did you drive recently? I was up by the airport. I was going to see this girl and I drove down this back alley. Oh, okay. So you probably got a nail.
No, it's
like that nail that's in the sidewall right there that wasn't there before 3 days ago. That hissing sound that we're all listening to right now.
No, that ain't.
Hold on, real quick. Put some air in that tire. Hold on, here's a Q-tip. Don't put Q-tips in your ears, people. Please don't put Q-tips in your ears.
But it's so satisfying when you do.
Oh,
it is.
Yeah, man.
It pushes the stuff further back.
No, but it feels so good. You get an eargasm.
I do not love
you
that
went
word.
there.
I'm not even gonna lie. Dee Dee and Amy are in the gallery.
Yeah.
The look that I just got from both of them, like, what?
Yeah, I do not love that word.
The things that he says.
Let's not use that
ever again.
Did I tell y'all about my call? This was a while ago, but I had a call with one of our community partners, and I asked them what was their point of doing this new program. I said, are you trying to get more customers? And this lady said, I hope she ain't watching because she gonna know that I'm talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
She said, well, household penetration is definitely one of our goals. And I was like,
no.
I was like, can we not use that phrase?
Yeah, gave him the ick.
I was like, oh, and then she said it like 3 more times. And I was like in the teams with the internal people on this meeting, just like, I'm like, I absolutely hate that word.
See,
like,
that's where when something like that is said, my entire team, we're all like 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
because like somebody will say that on a call and immediately the side messages are like, yes, we love practicing deep household penetration. And like things like, and it's just the messages I'm like, bro, at some point in time, this is probably a code of business conduct violation.
Right.
And all of us are going to get calls from HR. We need to stop this. Okay.
Well,
it's not.
I used to go to HR on a regular basis when I worked in some places because they wanted to hear the jokes that I said.
They thought it was so funny.
They thought it was so funny. They wanted to hear the joke.
They wanted to hear it for the record.
Yeah. They said, come tell us that joke.
Yeah.
I heard you told them, come tell us.
I remember
Oh gosh, here we go.
Okay, little guy Frank. Okay, a little guy. He's not so little anymore. But anyway, it was one of the first haircuts I gave him, and his mom was like, okay, I'm gonna fix that up, and she zeked it even more, and she was very upset. So it was like, well, it'll grow back. She's like, but he looks so stupid. I'm like, yeah, you could have just left it as it was. It would have grown in, like, fine. So I ended up shaving his head. Okay. And his mom and I worked together at the same place. And sure enough, like, he looks good as a shaved kid. You know, it was cool. It's not really his style. Like, he does more the mohawk thing. But I was like,
his resting face is like not like a smile. It's kind of like serious. I can imagine him looking like One Punch Man. Like,
yes, like Saitama. Yes. So I shave his head, and I was like, oh, brave little soldier. The leukemia just won't get you. And his mom was like, that is not funny. And she was super mad. So I go into work, and I'm telling everybody this, and HR smacks me. She's like, bow, what is the matter with you? And I'm like, I'm going to HR with this. And she's like, go ahead, I'm right here.
I'm hollering.
No,
you HR.
You deserve that. 100%.
That's wild, G.
Oh. All right. What did I do this weekend? Oh, I saw the new Captain America.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil a thing.
Okay.
I don't trust you.
Why? Because I don't like Emo's Pizza?
No, because you like to talk.
Like,
you know what?
Every show.
Every show. Emo's.
Every
terrible.
show.
You're never
Sponsor
gonna
us.
get a sponsorship for them.
I mean, that's what you
like
think.
this.
Watch. We'll show them.
You won't.
Speaking of
No
which.
balls.
What?
You won't. No
I won't.
balls.
Okay, cool. So speaking of which, this show. Yeah, in the Metro. We're gonna be transitioning. Do you have the picture? I sent it to you. We're gonna be transitioning into, this was the name that you gave this guy, the Your Favorite Guy podcast. So that is what we're going to transition to. The name in the Metro will still be here. The show will still be here. It'll be Chuck and his co-hosts, and they're going to have in the Metro. But starting March the 3rd, I think it is, the first Monday in March, we're going to be doing the Your Favorite Guy podcast, and that is the logo that you guys chose. So yeah. Kudos and congratulations to you. Brian with a Y, your favorite guy, right here, live in the flesh every Monday.
Well, is it really every Monday, though?
So it's like most Mondays.
Most Mondays.
Most Mondays.
A large percentage of Mondays.
Yes, like
Brian with a Y, your favorite guy. A large percentage of Mondays, I'm here.
Yeah. I mean,
say Drake. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Moving on to what was going on with today's episode. We're talking tax codes. Now, I do want to preface all of this that we're going to discuss today with this very important piece of information. This is information. I am not a tax professional.
Neither am I.
Robert is not a tax professional. Bill, also not a tax professional. Go to your tax professionals to compare, contrast, like get more information on what it is that we're going to discuss, because it is tax season and we're talking W-2's and 1099's. Yeah, so consult your tax professional like I do. I have a tax professional. Thank you, Jesse. Love you, bro. You're so far away. Thanks for your help. But we're going to continue with this. But yeah, we're talking 1099's and W-2's. And at this stage in the game, usually around the end of January, beginning of February, people get their W-2's and it's like, oh man, this is the thing. Yeah, cool. And what did your W-2's tell you? It tells you how much you paid in taxes, how much you actually got paid. That's the difference between like your gross.
Yep.
Oh man, I made 50 grand this year. And then your net. How I only walk away with like 39,000. Like that's how much I made in pocket. Yes, that's how much you made in pocket. But where does all the taxes go? And what does that mean? And what is a 1099? And what does that have to do with anything? Well, we're going to discuss that today. So without further ado, want to kick us off with W-2's or 1099's?
You pick. I don't care.
Okay, I'm gonna start with W-2's.
I bet. Well, so if you are a W-2 individual, that means you work a job of some sort, and then that job pays you on a basis, whether it's hourly, whether it's annually, and then they give you a document at the end of the year, which is your W-2, which explains your earnings, how much they took out for taxes, how much they took out for your retirement, all the stuff that happened. Think about it like your stat sheet. If this was sports, this would be your income stat sheet for the year, and it walks you down all that information. You should get this for if your job is a legitimate employer that you have to fill out W-4 forms for, you should get a W-2 at the end of the year. Now, that's very important because if you file your taxes without all of your W-2s, then you might either be missing money that you overpaid and you should be getting back, or on the latter, you may have missed money that you underpaid and you actually owe and you don't know it.
And that's always fun.
What if I make so little that I only get a W-1.5?
If you get a W-1.5, your employer, Lachey, you need to holler at somebody else. I don't know if that's like IRS.
Quit your job, find another one.
I just know somebody getting the paper in the mail with the sides that you rip off. Right. It's just W-1.5. Like, dang, 1.5. What happened to the other half? Like,
Uncle Sam's got it.
It's important though, because that's an important question, because
mine's not.
I'll take
question.
It this way. There are ways that if you don't make enough money at a job, all the money that you paid in taxes preemptively, that's the type of thing that like you'll get a full return. Like all the money you paid in taxes. That number is like what, 15,000, something like that.
Somewhere around there. Last time I looked, I think it was 10, but it does change, so could be 15 now. But that's why you talk with your tax professional, because like I said, those numbers change every year, and it's not my job per se to keep up with those numbers.
Let me ask an important question for the audience, because I've gotten asked this one quite a few times, especially for those people who maybe didn't meet that threshold. I think at one point in time it was like 12,500 you can make in the year before you really had to file or pay taxes, and now I think it is higher. But you got a lot of folks that just drop what they're doing and go to like H&R Block or one of these other guys that's going to charge you like $120 or more to do your taxes. Like, if you're a young person who's had like one job or maybe even like 3 or 4 jobs, but you ain't made a lot of money, would you suggest that they just do like a 1040 EZ, or maybe go look for one of those free programs or something like that? Because I see a lot of people going to H&R Block, and I don't want to
get charged money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. It's a business.
Scam.
I get it, but that's exactly where I am. Is like, I think that we're just one size fits all in the H&R Block perspective, knowing that we're going to make money off of you, knowing that you only made $14,000 this year, so you getting all that back. So ain't a problem me taking $120 or more out of what you're getting back before it comes back to you. And your taxes are done and it's all well and good, but you don't know that you could have went to one like your bank. Some banks offer like, hey, easy tax filing. Listen, we're not going to do your taxes if you've got like 6 businesses and all this income and all these crazy scenarios. But if you could sit down and fill out a 1040 EZ, you could do that at your bank for free. Yep. They'll file it for you and you'll get all of your return back without paying a gouging tax person.
Yeah.
So funny enough, a few years ago, I used to do a class on predatory products. The things we learned about tax preparation companies, we had to end up throwing them in this predatory class because it is that bad of an industry. Now, obviously, there are some positives to tax preparation. Like if you have those 6 businesses with all these expense reports, and then yes, pay somebody to do this for you so it can be done correctly. But if you have something simple, you want to use what's called a tax Vita site. So if you had download the IRS website, it's called IRS number 2 Go. That app, they have different little icons at the bottom. One of them, I forget what the option is. I think it's like sites or like tax sites, something like that. But the option is tax Vita site. When you click the tax Vita site, these are free sites in your community that do taxes. For like, it's literally volunteers. A lot of them are like retired tax professionals. They come out and then they do taxes for free. You type in your zip code, it tells you all the Vita sites in your area, and then it tells you their like criteria, because it's like maybe like, oh, by appointment only on Tuesdays, but they tell you the criteria for each of those places. Call them up, schedule an appointment, and as long as you, like I said, that threshold changes. Last time I checked, I think it was like 65,000 a year, is somewhere around there. If you make less than that, now the number may have changed for 2025, then you can get it done for free. So, but whatever that threshold is, that number is, if you make less than that, you go to a Vita site, get it done 100% for free. Unfortunately, places that do tax preparation, good Lord, stumbled over that word, didn't I? Places that do tax preparation, the thing about places that are predatory, they're preying off of the fact that a lot of people who doing this are in crisis. When we are in crisis, we're not thinking clearly.
Right.
And with taxes, the name of the game is the money is not tangibly here. So whenever the money is not in my hand, it don't hurt me like it would if it was. So I'll give you an example. If somebody prepared your tax and they're like, oh, you're getting $5,000 back, and they're like ecstatic. It's like, well, we do charge like $300 for this preparation. We charge this fee. We charge that fee. They're like, okay, cool. Because in their head, it's like, oh, I'm getting money back. I'm getting money back. But if you had $5,000 in your hand, I said, give me $500 right now. It's like
10%.
Wait,
hold
why
on.
am I giving you $500?
Yeah, that's
so
exactly.
It's a disconnect because the money is not tangibly there. And they prey on that by throwing all this stuff in front of you. There's a fear tactic where it's like, well, did you want to insure this tax return? That's another $200. But for the next 10 years, if you're ever audited, you'll get backing by our lawyers and we'll cover your court costs. So that way you won't have to worry about being fined or anything from the government. And a lot of people don't understand. I think if I get audited, I'm in trouble. And audit is just to make sure it was done correctly. If they were the ones who did it, they should be held liable anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, and at the end of the day, let's say they go through an audit and, oh, wow, you miscalculated, you owe $100. Okay, write us a check for $100. You have until this date to pay it. It's not like, oh, you did your taxes wrong, federal prison right now.
Right.
40 years. No, it's like, hey, you were off by $100. And sometimes they do the audit and they're like, hey, you were off by $100 that we owe you.
Yeah.
It's unless you're doing crazy fraudulent tax stuff where they start digging in and they're like, well, you took this deduction and that one, and you can't prove any of that stuff, and you owe like $15,000. But still, they're only going to be like, okay, you owe $15,000. You need to pay us, and you have until this date to do it.
And even then, you can set up a payment plan with the IRS.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. It'll be X amount of money every month until this whole thing is paid off, and then we're good.
Yeah. All the scary stories come from the people who like haven't filed for like 15 years. And like the IRS is like, bro, what are you doing? And they do file or whatever, gets done, and it's really bad. But even then, like, you're still just going to owe them whatever it is you owe them, and it may be an exorbitant amount if you haven't filed for 15 years. But you can get in trouble and go to jail if you quit paying them.
Yeah.
But you're right, these predatory places make it sound like, oh, bro, you don't want to mess with these guys, they're going to come break your kneecaps. I'll send Jimmy down to break your kneecaps because you're not paying them. No, like they're pretty flexible.
Then they
with no kneecaps usually are.
Then they throw in after they charge all these fees, they throw in you qualify for our blah blah card where we can give you 60% of your tax return now, and we'll take it from your taxes when they actually come. That does two things. For one, what they do is they set up an account in your name through themselves. So when your taxes come, it goes to that account, not to you. Then they take their portion, then send you the rest. Why is that an issue? Y'all remember the stimulus checks? Stimulus checks was sent out to whatever banking information was on your tax return. Well, if you did that, your stimulus check didn't go directly to you. It went directly to TaxAct. It went directly to H&R Block. And now you have to wait extra long for them to process that money because they only use that account one time just to get their money from you. And it's now this whole workaround for no reason.
Longer wait times. And a lot of times if you elect to get your money early or do whatever silly little program, it just takes a lot longer for it to get there. It's like hardly anybody who's filing online selects send me a paper check. They want it just deposited into their account, and that stuff's really fast when they do that.
It is.
But when you have to wait for a paper check, you have to wait for the check, and then you take it to your bank, and they want to put a hold on it. Gotta wait, even though it's from the United States Treasury, and you would think like, bro, if the government check bounces, we're all screwed. Like the bank has still got their policies. They're going to hold it. They're going to wait to see if it clears. So yeah, it's a bunch of extra crap. And if you think that they ain't making a little bit of percentage of interest on the account that's
more
sitting
than a
in,
little bit.
Oh yeah,
that's why we had to include them, because it's crazy. And really, these people take folks' whole tax returns, and then they're happy because at the end they're like, "Ooh, I got my $2,500 now." It's like, but you were supposed to get $5,000.
Yep, and your tax return is so simple that if you would have just done it through one of these places you're talking about, you would have gotten the entirety of the $5,000 for free.
Yeah,
I lump them into the same category that I lump the predatory payday loan services.
Yep.
Terrible, and they should not exist.
Not at all. Now, like I said, there are some benefits to tax preparation, but only if you have this situation. Like, for instance, after my life got a little bit more complex with businesses and like marriage and kids and all that, then I started like using tax professionals to do my taxes, because we got homes now, we have businesses, we got business expenses. It's a lot of stuff that this would take me days to do,
and you might miss something.
Yeah,
and I would suggest that you go to a mom and pop place that's doing this, because they're going to have more of a vested interest in making sure that, first off, they sit down with you and it's a personal one-to-one connection. It's somebody that you can talk to over and over again. They're doing this. This is their job. They're going to charge you a little bit for it, but they're going to have that interest in making sure, like, well, hey, were you running your business from home, Robert? Well, I was. Absolutely. Okay. Well, we can write off this, that, and the other. Were you using your vehicle for business? Absolutely, I was. Oh, well, did you track your mileage? I did. Well, here it is. Cool. We can write that off. Did you do vehicle maintenance? What percentage were you using your vehicle for this? There's all kinds of things that you can do with that. But the same thing goes for a more simpler return, where it's like, well, I didn't run a business. I just worked a job all year long, and I've got kids. I've got a wife. Well, did you do any like energy efficient credited stuff to your house? Well, yeah, I did put a set of solar panels on this year. Okay, well, if that goes above your standard deduction, we're going to want to itemize that. Like those types of things. And I just don't like, the last time that we did an H&R Block style return thing, first off, we paid a lot, and that was back then. I can only imagine it's a heck of a lot more now, but there just wasn't that personalized, because listen, when I go to a person like that, let's all just be honest, I don't want to donate my money to the IRS. I want you to find every legal deduction that I can take for me to have less of a tax liability, period. I don't know too many people out there that are like,
take my money.
I'd like to just give the IRS an extra $500.
Nope.
Because the IRS will take it. If you don't tell them that you qualified for that deduction, they're going to take that $500.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, and this is something that I find very interesting, like making sure that your W-4 is done appropriately. Because there are some people, like I remember when I was in New York, there was this one dude I sat with, and he had 8 children. He and his wife had 8 children. And I was like, so have you adjusted your W-4 so that you can get the right like deductions pre? And he was like, no, I love getting, and he was getting something outrageous. This was like 2008 maybe. I love getting a $30,000 tax return. And I was like, bro, but why? Because a return is what? Like you paid money.
You didn't get no interest on that.
Paid more than you were supposed to, so they're giving it back to you. So you're getting paid. You're not even getting paid. You're getting money that you gave somebody. It's like you pay a cashier with a 20 and it's $15. Okay, great. They returned $5 to you. So all that is just a refund of overpaid taxes. Okay, cool. So you've overpaid your taxes. Well, how long did you overpay for? 12 months, because it's from January of 2024 to December of 2024. Okay, cool. So that 12 months you overpaid taxes and you're getting back X amount of dollars. You did not earn a dime in interest, any rate of return, nothing like that. So you want to make sure that you do your W-4 just right. And once again, talk to your tax professional.
Well, and hey, what your tax professional could do for you, since they're a tax professional, is say, okay, well, if you enjoy that type of thing, and listen, you obviously have the flexibility to eat $30,000 throughout the year and not spend it. Why don't we look at, well, let's do the math. and find out what exactly let's do your W-4 correctly, so you're getting all your money back, right? And let's do the math. Out of each paycheck, take this amount and put it into, if you want it at the end of the year,
a qualified investment.
Yeah. Like, hey, all right, so you're going to hold on to, I don't know, buy this stock that has excellent performance over the year, and then, get your 30 grand at the end of the year. But it's going to be more than 30 grand because you will have made a return.
Right.
And then calculate out, the gains and stuff on it that you have to pay to the IRS, but you're still going to come out ahead rather than just putting $30,000 in the IRS's bank account and letting them have it for a year and getting nothing in return but the $30,000.
Now, if you want to,
here we go,
give the government money for free like that, just buy a treasury bond. But once again, that'll give you a rate of return. Or
put it on me, Bill, because I need y'all to look at this.
Listen to his face.
Or you can just give it to me.
Oh, I was getting ready to say
more
that.
Than the government.
No. So, listen. No. I'll make you a heck of a deal. You get and I'll any growth fund, and I'll give you 31 grand back.
I give it.
So I'm going to guarantee you $1,000 on your 30 grand investment. Since the IRS was guaranteeing you a $0 raise on your 30 grand investment,
no growth.
I will give you 31,000 back, and I'll take whatever's left over.
Like, if you just gotta throw your money down the drain,
I'll
take it.
I'll be that temporary savings place for you, savings without APR, but I'll give you $1,000 more for your trouble, and I'll take what's left over.
But in all actuality, though, a lot of this stuff, especially with people who really have their minds of like, oh, I gotta get a tax return. A lot of this stuff is more psychological than it is a matter of like fact or like, well, this makes more sense. And sometimes it's hard to break that mindset, but you have to get people to see, because typically when you lack the discipline to save, you rely on that tax return. Which
is what this client was talking about.
If it's gonna be rough, but at least I got this 30K coming. At least I got this money coming. I know a lot of people who like go all year with a crap car, and it's like they'll have no flexibility in their budget, and when they get paid the taxes, they use the taxes to go buy a new car. Yeah. And we have to change the mindset about money to create habits of savings. So then we're not relying on a tax return. Then we can use our money throughout the whole year.
See, I would love to see a public council. We just recently saw all the stuff that USAID was spending a bunch of money on, crazy stuff. We won't get into that, but I would love to see a public council. Hammers, manually actuated impact device. When you look at it on the surface, it looks super important. And you're like, oh, wow, dang, that must be expensive. Didn't know you could buy it at Home Depot. Anyway, besides that, I'd love to see a public council that ran commercials and radio ads that let people know, like, hey, if your stuff's easy, like just the logical things where you see these folks doing this, like you don't have to go, because the problem is, like, they grew up and their parents went to H&R Block.
Right.
And like dragged them along. I was sitting there in H&R Block, listening to it, talk to the person, lady typing on the keyboard with a cigarette in her mouth. Like
back then you could smoke inside.
Everywhere. Yeah. And it was boring as crap, but I just, continued. Like my parents told me when I got my first job, well, get your butt down to H&R Block and get those taxes filed. And you started, and that's what you do. And at the end of the day, it is taken care of. So they've never done you wrong in your mind. It's the same situation that started going on with like these Indian scammers would infect your computer with a virus, and then the thing would pop up on your screen, call this number. You call the number and they're super polite and they're like, oh yeah, we can take care of that for the one-time fee of $150. And you give them your $150 and they take care of the virus that they infected your computer with. They did provide a service, and you feel good at the end of it. You're like, man, I got past that. It was only $150. That's a win. No, bro, they screwed you.
Yeah. Like I remember somebody was talking about how like Amway has created a market that they then service. It's like, oh man, they sell soap. You could get soap at Walmart, Schnucks, like anywhere. Yeah, but this is on a rope. You can get soap on a rope from Walmart, and hell, even
but they have
Amazon.
laundry detergent.
They've got laundry detergent at
No.
Walmart.
No.
And they'll mail it to your house. Like somebody
They'll deliver it same day.
Yo,
what are you
for
talking
real.
about?
Speaking of which, and I heard this from a friend of mine recently. She lives in a neighborhood that the porch pirates. So she's got this contraption out front, and you lift it and you put the package in it, and she's got the key and she unlocks it. And she ordered something from Walmart. She caught the woman. The woman put the eggs inside
and dropped them
in.
Oh no!
I kid you not. I call, hey, what's up? I am so mad right now.
Oh jeez.
I checked every single egg to see if it was broken, and if even one egg was broken, I was telling them all the eggs are no good, but all the eggs were fine.
You know, there's a ton of industries that have, and it's smart. Don't get me wrong. Like, hey, you didn't know you needed it, but now you do.
Right.
Like the diamond industry. I've said this on the show before. Like, diamonds are so plentiful, it's ridiculous. They're everywhere. They are super plentiful, but they started this whole campaign like, hey, no, to get married, you need a diamond. And they got people believing that, and they controlled the market on it. And now suddenly a rock that's polished and cut at specific angles, which these days you could do on a computerized CNC and turn out the same results, is worth a ridiculous amount of money, you know, and it's literally a shiny rock.
And things like gold, like how impressive is gold? Look, in the 24th century, okay, they use gold to press latinum, which is so much more. That's a Star Trek reference.
That just keeps the latinum from getting all tarnished and stuff. The gold
it's gold pressed latinum.
Yeah, it is. No, like seriously, there's a lot of industries that have done that, and a lot of folks that have, or a lot of industries that have made up holidays and specific things for holidays because they're like, hey, we've got this product and it doesn't sell. Like I heard for the first time this last Christmas, pickles on your Christmas tree.
I'm sorry, what?
Pickle on your Christmas tree.
What do you mean pickle? Like an actual edible pickle?
Like a pickle on a Christmas tree is a decoration. Yeah, literally. I had to Google it.
Fake pickles.
Yeah.
You mean like Pickle Rick?
No.
From Rick and Morty?
No.
Like a...
Yeah, like it's like a decoration for the Christmas tree or whatever.
I've seen that.
That's apparently a thing.
Why?
They got all kinds of stuff. They got like Kit Kat like packs and
like just
Kool-Aid packs, pickles. I've seen it.
oh, Amy in the gallery's got some up here. None of us have young enough eyes to read that though. Nope. So
they sell them on eBay and Temu and TorrentStream.com.
Yeah.
Like
we talking about fake pickles though, right?
I'm assuming at some point in time they were real pickles, probably, because even if you take a pickle out and set it on the counter, it ain't going bad for a long time.
Tree.
I want to see this. Hold on, Amy just walked in.
Okay, hold on.
What is
the Christmas pickle? Is a decoration in the shape of a pickle that's hidden in the Christmas tree. The tradition is thought to have originated in the late 19th century as a German-American custom. The pickle in the Christmas tree. Pickle's usually the last ornament hung on the tree. The first child to find the pickle receives a special treat or gets to open the first gift.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I had not heard about that until this last Christmas.
Hear me
out.
What
are you talking about?
Follow me on this.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I'm scared.
They were not plastic pickles at first.
No, they were real pickles.
They were real pickles soaked in whatever you put pickles to pickle in, right? Pickle juice, vinegar, right? Yeah, so you would venture to say that
it ain't going bad.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
You can engineer your own show.
A little sass.
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't.
I see Brian like running back and forth.
I will hand you this stream deck right now, buddy. You got it. They sell USB extensions on Amazon. Get it.
I wouldn't know where to begin with that, Bill. That's why TikTok
vinegar and salt.
My computer issues.
That's why TikTok deals with my
computer issues. I'm so serious. Oh man.
Right, yell at the computer. Representative.
Did you say Christmas tree pickle?
Oh my God.
That's not even close.
Oh. Yeah, could you imagine like it's a jar and a pickle and it's just pickle juice just sitting, just you gotta the kid has to find it.
I'm assuming they did pickle because, like, inside the green Christmas tree, it kind of blends in like
Yeah, sure.
camouflage.
But it
like,
smells like a pickle.
like,
Right.
yeah. Like, well, and here's the thing, like, if you know that you're looking for the pickle, you just go around the tree till you find the weird looking thing that doesn't look like a tree.
Or wait for the cat to get it.
Right.
Your cat would definitely get it.
That's true. That is for sure
Mm.
true. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, it's weird stuff like that these companies make up, that they're like, oh, we got this product that we don't have a lot of interest in.
That's
Yeah.
how it was with milk.
Oh yeah. Oh, we were just talking about that the other day, that they, like, back in the day, they lied to us. They
Yep.
made the food pyramid
Yep.
like the biggest thing,
It was
that
all
the
around
got
dairy.
milk and milk does a body good and all that stuff. And
It was all a lie.
every doctor's like, listen, stop drinking the moo juice. There's no reason to
It
be
was all a
drinking
lie.
any other mammals freaking milk for their newborns. They're young. Like,
You want to know what's really wild about that? And at some point, I'll pull up my old MySpace page because I published the
oh my
yes,
gosh, MySpace.
yes, I published a speech that I did about the effects of milk on the human body. I did that on a MySpace page maybe 20 years ago.
Was that above or below the Britney Spears video?
You got a Britney Spears video?
You've never seen
But you stopped and thought about it.
MySpace page.
You stopped and
And
thought
which-
about it.
Which Britney Spears video
The
would
toxic.
it be?
Toxic. It's definitely toxic.
No, if anything, the one and only Britney Spears song that I liked was the one that. No, it wasn't. Oops, I did it
Okay,
again.
I was about. I'm
No,
like, if he
that
said,
actually pissed me off more than anything else. Like, she and I are the same age. Oh, look, I screwed with your heart again. Oh, oops. Like, get punched down the flight of stairs or something. I don't know.
Dang. Might have
Brittany, we're
touched
so
a
glad
nerve
the
there.
conservatorship is over. Make better music, make better choices. Anyway,
Wow.
People online still want to know what song it was, but that's
oh, right. Oh, by the way, hi, Kim. Hi, Ashley.
yes.
Oh, the hullabaloo.
The one where Lucky,
Lucky.
not Lucky. It was a much slower song than Lucky. I forget. I'll remember it. I'll tell y'all next week when I come across it, because I'm drawing a blank here. I got to talk about 1099's.
Oh yeah, we do need to talk. about
Yeah, because we only
1099.
talked about the W-2's.
What's a 1099?
What is a 1099? 1099 literally is just a tax code.
Yep.
It is for independent contractors, and the way that it works is okay. So your W-2 has the gross amount that you made, and then all the deductions that happened during the year, and then you have your net amount at the very, very bottom. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. I made 50. I walked with 39. Cool. The rest was in taxes. Some of it I'm getting back. That's awesome. The way a 1099 works is they just send you the gross.
Yeah, because your employer didn't pay anything.
Right. You're an independent contractor.
Mhm.
So these are Lyft drivers, Uber Eats drivers, Door Dashers.
Yep.
Anybody who runs a company gets a 1099.
You can also like be a contractor
Mhm.
for other companies to help them.
Right.
So, like, let's say a company cannot take on a full employee, but they need help. I can't give you benefits. I can't offer all that. So you're a 1099, which means I'm contracting the work you're going to do out to you, but you don't work for this company.
A great example. These big box stores like Home Depot and Lowe's,
Mhm.
right? They'll have a department, usually at their pro desk services, that says, oh, well, I need a deck built. Okay, customer comes in, they need a deck built. Home Depot they'll take the contract for it,
Mhm.
but they will subcontract that work out to a company that does deck building exclusively, or they do roofing, deck building, whatever. So they'll subcontract that work out, and then they'll cut, like, the customer cuts Home Depot the check, and then the Home Depot cuts the contracting company the check. And it's like, okay, cool.
And Home Depot makes a little bit of money.
And they'll make some money off the
plus
top.
the sale of the material.
Right.
Why
Selling the
is it
material.
that these subcontracted companies, the two things they always do is stuff that don't go together? Like, we do deck building and stove knobs. Like,
I don't know, but it's true.
You'd be like, what?
It's true.
That don't even go together, but okay. Like,
Yeah. We do siding and paving sidewalks.
yeah, like you be like, Okay, you could just stick with the siding and do like roofing and
No. We're gonna
like-
do the
No,
sidewalk too.
listen, we do plumbing and we do casts for broken dog legs.
gas a broken dog. Wait,
Just dogs though, just
like
dogs.
subcontractor / vet, like
I mean,
No,
listen,
just dogs. We don't do other animals, so
No,
we can't
just
call
dogs.
ourselves a vet.
just
You're
and we
right.
only do the cat. You got to put it on. We ain't put it on. We just build it. We just build it.
I'm hollering.
You send us the measurements. We'll send you one of those little digital calipers. You measure the leg. We got you.
So here's the benefit of a 1099 over a W-2. The W-2, you get your money, you get all of there's your gross. Here are all of your deductions. There's your net, and you get a return as a result. With a 1099, you get all of your money. You then pay your deductions. Whatever is left over is what you are paying taxes on. So, and I've seen it happen where somebody made like $100,000 in a year, and it was a 1099, $100,000. They're like, all right, cool. But I had to pay for office space. I had to pay for insurance on the office. I used my car, everything in my office, the furniture and all that other stuff. And by the time everything was done, they had $10,000 of taxable income. What do you get? What are you paying taxes for $10,000? At that point, you just file and say, look, that was my profit for the
Let me
year.
tell you the dangerous thing, though, that I think a lot of people don't realize, especially these young folks coming to the workforce. They'll run DoorDash,
Mhm.
Uber Eats, Lyft, whatever. Mostly probably DoorDash and Instacart and things, because that's easy. There's hardly any barrier to entry. You 1099 the entire year, you're probably, and I'm not trying to degrade anybody, but you're probably living a lifestyle where you're spending what you make.
Yep.
And a lot of these places pay you immediately. Like it's not waiting until Friday for the paycheck or anything. Like you got $40 in your wallet tonight from the work you did. You spend that all year and you make above the threshold by the end of the year. You owe Uncle Sam just like you would if you had a W-2 job.
Yep.
Except the difference is in the W-2 job, they were taking it out of your paycheck throughout the year. You're going to pay it at tax time.
Yep. All in one lump sum.
Yep. And you're going to, just like I said earlier in the show, you're going to have a deadline by which you owe that money. And yeah, you might be able to set up a payment plan or anything, but what's that going to do? It's going to eat into your Lyft, Uber Eats, Instacart
All
money.
your profits, yeah.
That you're making, spending it all on the fly. So a good idea is to figure out whatever your tax percentage is and sock that away.
Yep. You can also set up an LLC, which we're not going to, this is not legal advice.
Nope.
This is just a suggestion. Okay. Information. You can set up an LLC. Your car is owned by said LLC. Taxes are paid through the LLC, and then you funnel everything that way and pay yourself as an employee. That is an option for you.
And then you could just buy another company, run that company in the red so that there's a giant tax deduction, no money made, take that all as a tax write-off and pay $0.
These are all just suggestions. This is information for you. We are not tax professionals.
I was just
wrong,
explaining
but
what
also-
all major companies do in the
you're
first
absolutely
place.
right.
So, you know,
like the company that owns Waste Management, or
there was a waste company.
There was a waste company that is owned by a major company, and that company consistently runs in the red so that it's a tax write-off.
And they do all of their waste management or waste collection.
It's not waste management.
No, it's
they're
waste
their
management
own
firm.
individual company.
Yeah.
One thing I want to for folks that are 1099 for growth purposes, I get a lot of clients who've run into this issue once they're like 3 to 5 years into their business. If you do not have a strong cash position, sometimes how we do our taxes can be at a disadvantage when we're trying to upscale. Give you an example. So a lot of banks and credit unions may require you to be in business for so many years before you qualify for products with them. Well, I had a client go apply for 50K, is it 50 or 100K loan, and they couldn't get it because although their business made money, on paper, it looked like they only made $10,000 every year, and they didn't have a strong cash position. Now, if you're making the $10,000 every year, but you got $500K in the bank. Like, okay, well,
that's a strong cash position.
There's a very strong cash position. But to not have a strong cash position, and then on paper, it looks like our net profit was 10K every year. Banks like, we want to see
you asking for 100K and you only make 10.
Yeah, it'll take you longer to pay that back. Yeah,
it's not safe. Banks like it a lot when you have either assets or liquid cash.
Yep.
That if you do something stupid, they can go yoink.
Yep,
and they're safe.
And that was the thing. So instead of changing his tax designations, because obviously that worked for him, so we don't want to increase his tax liability, but ultimately what we had to do was increase his cash position. Like, okay, so let's put some more money in savings. What assets maybe, and we changed kind of how he ran his life. Like, what assets can you sell to your business to add to that cash position? So now your business owns this car, your business owns this house. And I'm like, but without either one of those two things, like at the end of the year, you looking bomb, like you made all bread, that they like, yes, we can trust you gonna pay us back. Or you have a strong enough cash position, they can say, oh, you are obviously making money, we trust you can pay us back.
Yeah, that's why like you look at any of these franchisee agreements for things, like they say, listen, you need to have a net worth of $2.5 million.
Right.
Is it going to, are you going to do $2.5 million out of pocket? Maybe, maybe not. But we need to know that if stuff gets bad, you ain't just going to drop, and this franchise that has our name on it is going to sit here with, weeds growing out of the parking lot.
A lot of steak and shakes.
Like exactly. It's crazy.
Hey, so when I don't know if y'all know this, I used to work at Little Caesars.
Did not know that.
My very first job was at the St. Louis Zoo. I was 14. Left there at 15, started at Little Caesars. Then I think 15 at the zoo, 16 at Little Caesars. And I was there for 6 years. And I went from there into banking. While at Little Caesars, I was one of the first employees of the owner. So I saw a lot of his mistakes, right? And by 18, I was a shift leader. And I'm like, man, I got this Little Caesars thing down pat. Like, I know how to do the orders. I can literally run a whole store. I'm like, I see what he's making, because I'm doing the numbers. I'm like, I see what he's making. I needed my own Little Caesars. At the age of 18, I applied to be a franchisee to open my own Little Caesars.
No.
Here's the funny part. They took it serious.
Oh.
I took it very serious. Like, in my head, I'm like, as soon as they tell me yes, I'm doing whatever I need to do. I'm quitting here and opening my own store. I'm dead serious, but I'm also 18, and I have an 18-year-old's mind, so I don't know anything that's ahead of me right now. Right. Person calls me talking like, yeah, we see you're interested in being a franchisee. Like, I'm like, yeah. So I'm basically thinking like, okay, this is my interview. I'm good. And she's like, okay, so right now, how much liquid cash do you have? And I'm like, huh? What's that? Like, I'm like, in my head, liquid cash, like, you mean like
you put it in a blender?
Or like what? Like a liquid?
That's real. Gold pressed latinum.
So
latinum
like,
is liquid.
Wait. Hold on. What's that alcohol with the gold in it?
Oh,
like the flag,
Goldschlager. Yeah, like I could go buy some of that. That's liquid cash, right?
Here's the dope part, and like I wish I knew who this lady was. I commend her so much, because me looking back now, I would have hung up on me. This lady entertains me.
She was patient.
Entertains me and explains to me what liquid cash is.
Oh,
and so then I'm like, well, yeah, I got like $300 in the savings account. She's like, well, we require that you have $150,000 liquid cash to start. And then she's like, and she keeps going. Like, she's so nice. She keep going.
Yeah,
and she
impressive.
goes, by any chance, would you happen to know your net worth? Once again, I'm like,
what's that?
What's that?
Like, I got a baseball like net or like volleyball net in the
played lacrosse in high school.
$25.
Like I said, y'all, I'm taking this very seriously. So she just told me the 150,000 thing. I don't care. Like, I'm still going for it. Like, we're gonna find a way to get the 150K. And so she explains to me what net worth is. She basically gives me the layman's term. She's like, if you take everything you own and subtract everything you owe, what's left is your net worth. And I'm like literally on the phone with her like this. I swear to God, I go, like, on my Xbox.
Oh, God.
Like, I swear, like, looking back on this now, like, bro, you were such an idiot in that moment. But
I hope she recorded that call.
And this lady is so nice. Like, she just entertained. And basically by the end, she's like, yeah, well, right now you don't qualify. But in the future, we love to consider you. And she's literally like, I was like, now I look back, like, she was so nice.
Her manager was on the phone listening, doing like a customer service.
So fast. So I'm like, what's that?
Ask, what's that?
Click.
Yeah, you don't qualify.
I'm sorry.
But I think from a franchising opportunity, they're saying, oh, we got this kid who's interested. Maybe at some point he'll get that money together and we'll revisit this conversation. It won't be with me because I'll be moved on to somewhere else. But at some point, yeah, we could do this. And that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I really love about 1099s, though, is your ability to get like qualified retirement plans deducted out in advance. So like, I don't want to go too far into this, but you have SEPs and you have simples, self-employed pensions, and you can sock away a certain percentage. So this was how this company was, made $100,000, only made 10, because like $50,000, I think it was $45,000 was going towards retirement. Mm-hmm. Because when you work a job with a W-2, you get a 401k. Okay, cool. That's great. They deduct the money before you get paid. That's part of like your pre-taxed. It's a pre-taxed contribution, and you put that in there, and cool. Well, when you're socking away $45,000 of the $100,000, it's 45% of your income. It's like, oh, okay. Well, what it counts as is you didn't make that. What you made was $55,000, and now we're doing deductions from that. Okay, great. Well, but you have more flexibility when it comes to making deductions. I know one of my mentors, he would mail a lot of stuff out, and he would go to the post office and just be like, these are all receipts. I'm going to grab all of these receipts. I'm going to take these with me, give them a tax guy. And it was like, all right, cool. Like, that's what you do. You just take the receipts because it's all postage, right? And did you prove? Yeah, I got receipts for it. I got the receipts. Mm-hmm. And that was cool because you get those as deductions.
Couple things I wanted to say. In the name of deductions, if you are doing a personal return, there is a standard deduction. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is anymore because it's been a while since
I've changes done every year,
but it does change. So let's say the standard deduction is $10,000. If your itemized totals, so if you were a good person and you kept your gas receipts and your this receipt, and I put this in my house and it qualifies for an energy credit receipt and all these other things together, and it does not total more than that standard deduction, you do not want to itemize. And the online tax preparation softwares, some will warn you like, hey, you've got $9,500 worth of itemized deductions here. Are you sure that you don't want to just take the $10,000 standard deduction? You do not want to itemize when the standard deduction is more than your itemized deductions, because that's silly. Now, however, though, if you're throughout the year collecting all those receipts and everything, and it's $12,000 worth of deductions, legit deductions, then yes, that's more than the $10,000. The $10,000 are like, listen, we're going to give you the $10,000 deduction, like standard deduction. Most people aren't going to exceed that. You may, you absolutely may. So beware of that. Don't quit keeping your receipts, because you will eventually come to a point where whatever you've done is over probably the standard deduction. Second thing I want to talk about, there's probably a lot of people out there like, oh, well, that's cool. I don't 1099 or W-2. I do everything in cash. What you're going to have to be careful with, especially here recently, is every one of these financial institutions is required to report to the IRS when you use or when you do a certain amount of transactions through them dollar-wise.
Right.
Again, I don't know the numbers on each and every one of them. I'm sure some banks are probably different than like Venmo or PayPal or Cash App or whatever. But if you are living your life through Venmo me, Cash App me, PayPal me, whatever that looks like, that money is watched. And when you hit that threshold, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App sends a form to the IRS saying this person did $900 worth of transactions on our platform this year. Mm-hmm. And then you got to answer for that. Where'd that money come from? So if, again, like, you may think, I got this in the bag, I ain't paying no taxes.
And kale salad doesn't count.
And you do, $40,000 worth of transactions between PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that other stuff throughout the year. And I ain't reporting nothing. They are.
Mm-hmm. And you've got to account
sooner
for that
or later,
too.
Sooner or later, the IRS is going to go, hey, why didn't we get a return from you we see you had income.
Yep.
And that doesn't matter. And let's just be frank, that doesn't matter if that income was from legal or non-legal sources. If you look at the IRS tax code, if you are a drug dealer, you are to report your drug dealing income on your taxes. I kid you not. If you look at the IRS tax code, they expect you, whether your activities for making income were legal or not, to report that income. And they don't care.
And let me tell you, a lot of those people who were mobsters, right? A lot of those people, like Al Capone and what was the guy that was it Capone? That
Capone was a mobster, yeah.
That Johnny Depp played, the unusual not usual suspects, but whatever.
Montana.
Anyway, no.
Tony
Anyway,
Montana.
and this is how these guys get caught, because like you can evade the cops,
Mhm.
but the IRS, they will come get you. Like
Yes.
they
Yes,
play
they will.
zero games.
Well, they're going to see where the money came in.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh, you did
the
what?
only way that you're going to
you
keep,
evaded taxes?
yeah, the only way you're going to keep out of the focus of the IRS is if everything you do is 100% in cash and you're not keeping it at a bank account. You're not taking transactions through any of the apps or anything.
The dude from Bad Boys 2, he had the rats eating his money.
Like literally, it would have to be
Rats!
100% cash, and you just, that's almost impossible.
I was in the world we live in. That's
Yo,
not happening.
if you've got any kind of cash, look, let me tell you how crazy this is. Okay, before they closed it down, I was on Tucker in St. Louis. There was that gas station in Tucker. You know, the gas station. Everybody gets shot at that gas station.
You bet off pushing your car to the next exit.
Yeah. You just
Before you
keep
stop
going.
and get gas
Just keep going. Anyway, lady walks up to me. She's like, "Hey man, you got $1?" I was like, "Nah, I'm sorry, I don't have cash. I got Cash App." I'm sorry, what? You got Cash App? Oh, you think I have money at all? Like
what they need to do is just walk around and have a vest with a QR code on it.
So and that's real.
You know,
I'm out. Just scan my QR code.
Yeah,
right.
There was a dude.
You got $1.
I went to
with
lunch.
the fee. That's like, I'm only getting 75 cents to you.
Yeah, I went to lunch with one of my trainees downtown, and this dude is like selling his album, and I'm like, okay, like. He seems like he's doing something, like he's trying to get his hustle up and whatnot. He was selling his album. He's a boxer. And he was just like the ultimate entrepreneur. He's doing his thing, right? And fast forward, I'm like, all right, cool, man. And I pretended like I was scanning the QR code. I took a picture of the QR code. I was like, if it pans out. So we walk into this restaurant. We're grabbing a bite to eat. And I see this dude light up a joint. And I'm like, what athlete?
In the restaurant?
No, he was outside.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, oh, you're a boxer? I'm supposed to take you seriously and you're smoking weed? Like, yo, you're smoking anything. Like, I would have been more on your side if you had an edible.
Yeah. No. Well, and with the cash thing too, like you ain't gonna get any reputable business person, gosh, I can't talk, to pay you cash, because they got to report where that money went to.
Yep.
You know, that's why
Ocean's 11. In the opening sequence in Ocean's 11, where Brad Pitt's character, he's teaching the celebrities how to play poker. Oh yeah, Topher Grace says, yeah, so my tax guy says if I write you a check, like, do you have an LLC that I can write this to? And he's like, cash.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I cannot under any circumstances let the IRS in on my business. Like, you could just blow $500 in cash, that'd be fine. I have no problem taking that from you.
Yep.
Much like, anyway. But yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to ask something for both ends, whether you W-2, 1099, track. It means nothing if you can't prove it.
Yep.
So a lot of people on the W-2 side think there's no point in tracking because I can't get no extra for it. That's not true. There's so many other things you can. So if you paid for childcare, like daycare, you can get some money back off your taxes if you put how much you've paid in daycare expenses. Some medical expenses can qualify for getting a tax break. Even if you're taking care of a family member, like let's say a elderly parent or you have a family member that you can count as a dependent, their expenses you can include, and they should ask you about all of that. So whether you like, if you W-2, just like, oh well, I get that, I don't do nothing else. Track all of that.
Mhm.
And then on the 1099 side, it's imperative that you track.
Oh yeah,
because
look,
none of these benefits happen if you ain't tracking.
I got 78, almost $7,900 worth of deductions off of just one transaction when my transmission went out last year. Like that whole thing, just
Brian has exceeded the standard deduction.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely adding that in because good grief. And then all the oil changes and the tires,
Mileage,
mileage, like all that. Like I'm at 192,000 miles now. My car is a 2019. Okay.
For drivers, Brian, you just reminded me of something.
Mm-hmm.
There are apps that you can manually track your mileage.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut them on when you start driving. It tracks your miles for the day, and then you can get monthly reports on that. So when it's time for you to submit your mileage, you upload that report or you give that report to your tax professional, and it'll make tracking so much easier, because without it, you have to do this whole, what was your miles at the beginning of the year? What was your miles at the end of the year? How much percentage of this time did you use your car for this business? It's a lot to just try to figure out in a moment. It is much easier just to track, and then you can give them the facts. The car facts.
The car facts. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the car facts are that when Brian's car hits the junkyard, it's done.
Oh, absolutely. Like I just redid the whole front end.
It's done. That's too many miles.
It was, I looked at the Carfax.
You said that's too many?
No, for a 2019.
Oh yeah.
192,000.
You're right. My car's, so my old car, I have 218,000 miles on it.
I'll be there soon.
But that's a 2009, and that baby still got a lot of life in it. I just got to get that
catalytic
fixing
converter,
some axle work and the catalytic converter, and she rolling. So
my 97 F-150 just went past 110,000 miles.
Oh, that's lit. That
original miles.
That's crazy. That's still a baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
The body and the frame's gonna fall apart on that truck.
Like you gotta understand. Like that look. I'm like,
the body and the frame are gonna fall apart on that truck.
80,000 more miles. Ow.
Yeah.
You just hit the mic.
It was static electricity.
Oh,
it was 80. I got 80,000 more miles than you. And my car is like significantly younger than yours.
Yeah, it's a 97. Mine's a 97.
Yeah, yours is a 97. Mine's a 19.
What is it they call it for the metabolic age? Like,
yeah,
like you actually 30, but your metabolic age is like 25. Your car metabolic age is actually like a 92.
Yeah,
I had a 92 Honda Accord that had 194,000 miles on it.
That thing was beat up.
But I missed that car. I still have parts for that car. What am I going to do with that?
Get rid
That's
of them.
Crazy.
How?
Sell them on eBay.
At this point.
I'm going to have to sell them on eBay. Anyway, this has been a fun and wonderful show, and I hate to bring it to an end, but we are here. It is 8:32 Central Time. For all of you on the East Coast who have stayed up with us, thank you so much. I do want to thank Robert for coming out and sharing some knowledge with us.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Bill. Always a pleasure to have you. Ashley, feel better. I know you're back at the house doing mom things, and that's cool.
Mom things.
I mean, seriously, people think like being a mom, you just stay home all day. No. Being a mom,
I call it household CEO.
For real.
I like that.
For real. That. And I'm not going to get into the insurance side of it, but like, your spouse who was a homemaker, definitely. A household CEO, definitely.
Every time coverage. I hear CEO, I hear that chick on TikTok, this TikTok CEO.
Oh
yeah. Every time that.
What I miss?
You have now been promoted. You're one of my star employer, whatever. Yeah, I think of that every time now.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching it on a delay, tomorrow, Tuesday, or beyond, thank you for watching as well. If you have any questions, feel free to write into the show. Let me see. We are here at Studio B, right next door to the Garden Gate Tea Room, the Board Gamery, and the Downtown Diner, also next door to Studio C. Coming up this month, we have, next month, on the 14th. So it's the second week in the second Friday in March is going to be the next trivia night, and that's going to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be huge. We have D&D the first Saturday of the month on March 1st. Just to kind of go back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've already written 4 of the rounds, so it's not like, I'm going to be waiting until like you guys aren't going to be walking in while I'm creating the slides and writing the pictures and the questions. And in addition to that $25 gift card that you can win, there is also another prize that I myself know it's not my Infinity Gauntlet will be throwing in there to bolster, things as a prize. So I hope you enjoy it. That having been said, I am Brian with the Y, your favorite guy. Any last words, guys?
Peace, love, hair grease.
Peace, love, hair grease.
No.
Okay, cool. I am Brian with the Y, your favorite guy. We will see you next week at 7:15 Central, right here in the heart of Granite City. You're awesome, amazing, and fantastic. And don't let anybody make you feel different. Have a great week, guys.